The MCU has been on a rocky roller coaster since the end of the Infinity Saga, with the recent decline in Marvel and its cinematic failures such as The Marvels, which literally is the one film to underperform in gross profits and not even break even, which for a Marvel film for that to happen is not only seriously bad, but unheard of from Marvel. However, Kevin Feige recently made a decision to scale down what was making Marvel feel so bad and dead in current fiction film, scaling back MCU series to only 2 per year, which is a massive relief as this seemed to be the main reason for poor quality in film standards, and shows that no one really found entertaining. I mean, seriously, the only good series in that time was probably Loki, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Hawkeye. By this track record, Marvel was looking to go down the same road as Star Wars, where all their projects were focused more on generating income rather than upping the experience of previous Star Wars projects that had been made. Marvel took it a step too far, with their unserious and forgettable villains that left little to none impact on the story, and their useless pointless cameos such as Megan Thee Stallion in She-Hulk. I mean, this is one of the most pointless and stupidest scenes in the entirety of the MCU. However, Kevin Feige did notice the lack of engagement with Marvel as the former MCU that we know was crumbling in front of us. We were receiving half-decent projects once per year, and well, they made a change. One change that we wouldn't be forgetting anytime soon.
We give you the one person who could play Victor Von Doom.
New mask. Same task. What can I tell you? I like playing complicated characters.
We will see you in 2 years with Doomsday.
On July 28th, 2024, Marvel and Kevin Feige would both make a bold decision that was met with its truckload of controversies. They had replaced the failure of the next Avengers villain, Kang the Destroyer of Worlds, which Marvel had really underwhelmed this character, with weird choices as one of the variants of Kang being defeated by Ant-Man's army of ants, for some weird reason.
How many Avengers I've killed? And you think you can beat me? I am Kang! That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Although to Marvel's credit, this was not entirely their fault, as Jonathan Majors' own legal issues had pretty much bombed the character and practically forced Kevin Feige's hand to let him go and get his replacement, which was Doctor Doom. Now this was a great villain choice that was beloved by the Marvel community. It's just who they chose that aroused two types of reactions. When Robert Downey Jr. was announced to be playing Doom, it was mixed with loved reactions and disappointed ones. Now, Robert Downey Jr. is more than capable of playing this role, and he is a talented actor by far. It's just who he was last in the MCU, that was Iron Man. His death felt so great in a way that would honor his legacy in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the one character without any bad character writing. Fans felt that him returning to play the role of the villain was just another pointless money grab, and it was disrespecting Iron Man and how that character had an impact on fans. But me, however, I think this is a bit of an ingenious decision, as most of, if not all MCU characters that was at the Battle of Endgame will be there in the Return of Doomsday or Secret Wars. Especially for characters like Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Thor, who is going to see their friend, father figure or idol being on the other side, where they won't stand much of a chance alone. I'm most definitely interested in the interaction between Peter and Doom, as this would be like Steve and Sam fighting on different sides. It's something he's going to overcome for the sake of saving the multiverse, and I'm excited to see it. As for those who think this won't happen, then you really have to ask yourself, Why rubber? This is a film that is going to be directed by the Russo brothers, the same two who handled Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, working closely with all the Stark and Peter scenes, and handling the death of Tony Stark in the best possible way they could have handled it. So, for them to make a no connection between Doom looking like Stark and the characters not noticing that, is most likely practically indefinitely not going to happen. Which is why the film hype is higher than ever. And hey, for the price they're paying for it makes a lot of sense too. Reportedly a whopping $100 million for both Secret Wars and Doomsday. However, considering the fact that Infinity War made $2 billion worldwide and Endgame made $2.7 billion worldwide, the MCU has made a pretty big bet that they can afford him, and well, the facts don't lie. With the recent releases of Deadpool and Wolverine and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 doing amazing in the box office, and Kevin Feige slowly but surely returning and restoring the MCU back to its glory. Now, is it perfect? Not yet. However, it's a much better improvement with projects like Captain America Brave New World being good, great, not so, but in its own right good. And while expectations for Thunderbolts were set high, and for once in a long while, they were hit to the very top of the bar. I said in my previous video, this film felt like it was from the golden era of Marvel, which primarily was pre-multiverse saga. This film had the fun family dynamic of the Guardians, and a story that was just as good as Age of Ultron. For once, Marvel felt stable in where we were in terms of it. With the rest of potential incoming films, we have a good track to follow. First up, we have the Fantastic Four First Steps film in July 25th, 2025. And with all we know from trailers, this film takes place in a separate universe within the multiverse. This period looks around 1950s to 1960s in a futuristic set, with the designs feeling much more comic-like, which is a good feeling as I do generally enjoy the redesigns in the 21st century of Marvel characters, but going to the originals is a nice feeling. And you know what they say, you can't beat the originals. However, in the trailer we see that Galactus is particularly interested in something as he shrinks down to find this something on Earth. And there's a lot of theory going around that this is Reed's and Sue's child, Franklin Richards, who is a powerful beast in Marvel. Where in the comic, Galactus has shown interest in him, using him to his advantages. But whatever happened, we know that it was so bad that the Fantastic Four had to leave their universe and go to 616 Earth. How do we know all of this? Well, the post-credit scene from the Thunderbolts, where the new Avengers had discovered it in orbit heading over to them. And I'm going to leave it there, as yes, there's definitely way more we could talk about here, but with the film being 2 months away from release, it's better to find out what caused them to abandon their entire universe when it comes out. Now of the next film being Doctor Strange 3 to talk about. Now me personally, I don't believe this film is coming out anytime soon. Not until Doomsday has passed or before Secret Wars. And the reason why I think that is primarily simply to the fact that Kevin Feige has not made any attempt to advertise this film or even release it with any official art or titling. Now I have heard from some resources that the title of the film could be Doctor Strange Time Runs Out. And we know the film is going to be centralized around the multiverse, and from the last scenes of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, the last thing we see him do before the film ends is helping stop an incursion with Sela, a fellow sorcerer, which is the last we see of him. Now this film in my imagination would have taken place during Doomsday to lead Doctor Strange into Secret Wars on into that Avengers film. But apart from that, we don't know much more solid information on the film at all. Next up on the lineup is Avengers Doomsday, and of course we know who's going to be in this film. And Marvel did this in a way we were thinking we were getting the entire cast lineup, but on Instagram Robert Downey Jr. says, "That's what you call a deep bench of talent. Actually, it's more like a row, but an extra long one. This must be it, right?" This is almost inscriptive. Like what we see is possibly not what we're getting entirely. Maybe there will be more, some that Kevin Feige wants to keep a surprise for us to experience firsthand in cinema. Or maybe I'm reading too much into this and it's just Robert being Robert, but I don't know. Tell me guys what you think. Other than that, we know that production has started for a couple of months now, so the expected time of next year, May 2026, is more than likely going to happen. We also know it's going to function like the two previous Avengers films, where Doom will win in Doomsday, and it will lead to him to create Battleworld, his own planet to initiate Secret Wars. However, this is all speculation, and until we get an appearance of Doom, or a trailer, we can't confirm anything properly. Moving on to Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is officially confirmed to release June 26, 2026, which is a month right after Avengers Doomsday. Avengers GTA 6 and Spider-Man in 60 days? Talk about a crisis for any other media creators. These 2 months is locked off to you guys. However, good news following this film, as with a long battle between Sony, Kevin Feige and Tom Holland, this film is going to be a grounded story on the webhead. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. Sony's original plan was to make this another No Way Home multiverse style of film. Someone please take the rights away from Sony. Please. This is so clearly just a senseless money cash grab, and if it wasn't for the actors and directors, this character may have had a completely different story. There are current reported rumors of the next villain being the Chameleon, which, if it's true, then prepare for a great future of the character. The Chameleon being the brother of Kraven, and Kraven is famously known for his Last Hunt story, and at the end of No Way Home, before Venom got transported to his own universe, he left a drop of live symbiote. Oh boy, I really hope the villain is the Chameleon for this film. And what the character needs is to go ahead and have a ground story. I mean, in just 2 years of Peter's life, he has fought criminal organizations, illusion tech deceiving villains with Stark tech, a purple alien from a different planet, and a literal multiversal Sinister Six. Let's give this man a street level film. Please, please. The Scarlet Witch is rumored, however there's no official confirmation of even a real release coming out. And as of now, the character is confirmed to be dead since that of Multiverse of Madness. But we already know it's in Marvel's hands, and it's not unexpected for them to bring back dead characters. But if they decide to keep her dead, this would be a prequel and wouldn't add to the story on the upcoming films and projects. However, if they bring her back to life, what could a story even be about in this film? I'm not too familiar with Wonder stories in the comics, but let me know what you guys think. Second to last, we have Avengers Secret Wars that's releasing in 2027. But this is too far to be able to track any type of specific events or even more cast members. All we can go off right now is the comics, and all we know that is Battleworld's storyline is a high chance of coming through. But we are going to have to wait till Doomsday to really understand the plot of the next film. As with 4-5, this is expected before Secret Wars in 2027, and I don't know anything about this at all. We know it's in development, but no script or storyline has been decided at all yet. However, if the release date is accurate, I don't know if this is going to be a prequel or in between the two films, because Chris Hemsworth is going to be in Doomsday, which means Thor is going to appear. So, I'm a bit lost on that detail. So that's it for upcoming Marvel events right now, and with recent side projects like Daredevil Born Again releasing. We can have a lot of hope from this new phase of the MCU. From this point to 2027 is going to be an eventful 2 years. Will this be able to top the hype and excitement surrounding Endgame? We can only hope so, as Doomsday and Secret Wars seems to be even bigger than the two, alongside with the already known popularity of the character that is obviously Doctor Doom.